Hello and welcome back. In this short lecture, we're going to learn about how to deploy applications from Windows Store or Microsoft Store application. So to begin with that, uh, in fact, we did try to deploy a lot of other different applications from the client apps. Now this time we're going to learn about deploying the Microsoft Store-based applications like very similar to, I can just go back to the business store. This is a website. If I go back here, you would be able to find out a website which you need to log in with the same tenant ID, which you have the full permissions on your Intune tenants. So in my case, if you can see here, the Paddy account, with that account I logged in. Similar account I also have, the same account which I have in Microsoft Intune also. So now what I'm going to do is I need to set up my Microsoft Store to integrate with Intune. To do that, I need to go to the settings, manage settings, and if I'm correct, there is something called distribute. Yes, in the distribute, there should be, if you can see here, you have the private store, management tools. So these are the applications to store and distribute across your within your only organization, and they are the management tools that will be allow you to configure mobile device management. But if you can see here, you need to activate here Microsoft Intune. So I'm just going to activate Microsoft Intune as well as Microsoft Intune enrollment. Once I have activated, it will become as active the status. Similarly, I'm going to activate Microsoft Intune enrollment. Uh, Once these status are active, what happens is in the background, whatever the applications you're going to buy from Microsoft Store for Business, it's like your Google Play Store or your App Store for iOS devices. Simple, you're going to buy the applications for the users. So end users no need to buy any of the applications. Since you are buying from the Microsoft Store, it can be assigned for the end users. That's the goal. So that's what we're going to try now. So what we'll be doing is we are going to, once activated this status, we will be syncing in Microsoft, especially into the Microsoft. You can just go back to the client apps and then to the store. In the store, you're going to actually sync up under setup Microsoft Store for Business. So this has been already configured as enabled. If not, you need to enable that and wait a minute or so it's going to actually enable that specific setting. Once it is enabled, you can sync up that specific setting, and that might take some time for you. Once the sync process completed, you would be getting status as active. Then you can go ahead to the login with the Microsoft Store apps website and then enable the required applications. But in our case, if we tried in the previous demos, what we have tried is we tried by going back to the client apps, and then we have selected add, and then simply we have selected the required client app type. But in this case, you don't get it here as the App Store. That's the Microsoft Store specific apps. You don't get it here. So instead of doing from here, you would be actually doing from the Microsoft Store. So let's go back there. So you have all these store. In this store you have all the applications. Since I'm not going to buy any of these special applications, I'm going to choose only the free applications. If you are interested, you can always buy from a different categories. In my case, I'm just gonna try with a paint application. There should be a free application for fresh paint applications, which should be which we are gonna buy now as a free. Since and then what we would be doing is we'll simply get that app. So what it's gonna do is it's gonna get into our Microsoft Store application. That's what it's gonna do. So it will be added to our inventory. Now, as a next step, I need to sync up with my Microsoft Intune. In fact, what I've done is I have also enabled different other applications in this case, not just the fresh paint. If you can look at here in the products, I do have Audible from different application, OneNote, Excel, different applications I have done. So let's go back to the Microsoft Intune client apps. So this is where it should appear in the right side. But before doing that, I either have to wait or I can force a sync. So it all depends on the sync time. It might be depends on your total tenant user accounts and the traffic between which is generating from the Microsoft tenant account to your your cloud. So now what we are going to do is, since all these apps have already selected, you can actually check out in the right side. If you can see in the category, or the type would be the basically store, but let's search for the fresh paint. I don't get it because it's not yet synced. So what I have to do is either I have to refresh or close, or then do the complete refresh of the web page. So let me show you. Actually, in the right side you would be actually getting, if I select apps, the type as the Microsoft Store. For example, since I have filtered, now it's showing as the fresh paint online. If I close that filter, in fact I would be seeing everything, because since it was actually filtered, it's just showing only the one application. Now if I check once again, it's just showing that application. So all I have to do is I have to close that filter now, or I can check out here the type of that specific one would be the, if you can see here, Excel is coming from our Microsoft Store. Similarly, Fresh Paint and OneNote and PowerPoint Online are mobile specific ones. So all these are coming out of our Microsoft Store for Business, because we did enable there, and all these applications got synced up, Savvy, all other applications, and it is coming out in our portal. That's how it's going to work actually. So now how to deploy this? So let's take the Fresh Paint application by clicking there, and then go to the assignments. But before that, let me open up my Windows client and check for, I don't see anywhere fresh, otherwise other than the normal fresh paint is which is showing from my store. That means I can go to the store as an end user and I can get it. So what we are trying to do is, as a Intune administrator, you are actually buying that application from Microsoft Store and you're pushing that application. So this is how this is what the actual demo output. So what we'll be doing is, instead of the store from the buying end user, what we'll be doing is we are going to push out. So now you witness that there's no application got installed. So let's go back to the install. To install that, go to assignments, click the existing any of the AD groups. So in my case, in fact, I'm a lazy, so I'm gonna choose a existing account which is already there for another application. So in this case, the assignment type we are selected as the required, because it should be automatically installed. So we are gonna witness even the installation status and the progress, in fact, and the minute-to-minute update, in fact. So let's actually add the account. In this case, select the group. It should be ms hyphen, if I'm correct, it should be app store or store app demo. Yep, store app demo for some specific application. But in case if you're interested, you can create for one group for your own application. For example, in this case, fresh paint application, you can create very similar to that group and you can distribute. So in my case, I'm actually reusing the same application group which was created in Azure AD. Click OK and OK. And now save it, so that this is going to actually get that group to be targeted with the Intune, with that specific application which is coming from Microsoft Store. Now, as a next step, sync the policy. To do that, I can take one of the machine, which is in this case PC on-prem, if I'm correct. So I can simply check the name of this computer. Let's see host name. And yeah, it's a PC on-prem one. This is the computer name, so I have to sync up so that it's going to actually sync the policy. That means the client is going to sync with the server. Similarly, you can actually, if you want sync, you can also sync it from client machine also, always by going to settings and then accounts. You can check out before that the policy was not applied, in fact. So let me go back to settings and go to accounts and then access work or school. This might take some time, and then open up, then click on info. That should have a button called sync. So when I sync it, it's going to actually check, the client is going to forcefully checking everything with the Microsoft Intune server, and the application is not it's started. But in a minute or so, it's going to actually show you there in the start button with the progress, like installing option. There might be, sometimes if you can see even the managed apps, it's still showing as a waiting for installation status. So that means it should actually show you the, if you just double click on the fresh paint, it's gonna open new blade with the actually whether it is accepted or attempted to install. That means application is, it should be, if I open the client machine, it should be start progressing the installation from 0%. So you can see here 0%, that is the bar is going out. If you can go down also, it would be fresh paint will be there, like this, and with the same progress bar. So in a minute or so, it should actually show up me a percentage from 1 to 100, but it not going to be show you as the numbers, but a progress bar will be there. So that's how the progress bar. So it might take some time. By the way, what's going to happen is sometimes if it is successfully installed also, it might show you as an error. But in a minute or so, it's going to actually show you the actual status. So that's expected behavior sometimes, but we never know. We have to wait for that. So I'm just going to refresh. This might show as error code with 00. If I, yeah, it got failed. Interestingly, if you can see here, error code 0x0, that means success in fact. But Microsoft Intune has directly showing that code because we're aggressively refreshing and checking the status. So in a minute or so, what would happen is it's going to actually show you as a success because we are sure that the application got installed successfully. So it might take some time. So I'm just trying to open the application and see whether this is properly opening the or not, or should I believe the Intune status or just the application existence status. So in this case, I'm sure that the application is existing. So let me close this with Alt F4 since it's not showing any window to close. And if I just go back to the fresh paint, and if I do a refresh in a minute or so, it should show me a status as installed. Yeah, if you can see, last device is now checked up, so it's going to revalidate whether this application is installed or not. So in our case, the application got installed, but it's not sent a proper status. So it might take a minute or so. We shouldn't be more aggressive to get the status. In this case, you can reforce if you want the sync status, or wait for some time automatically to happen, like a 15 minutes or so. And we are very much close now. The sync process has been completed. Let me click on managed apps. It should be okay. Yeah, fresh paint got showing as installed. Now all the error information also gone away. So this is how it's going to work if you're trying to deploy any of applications from Microsoft Store for Business. Thus a demo can be performed, and you can check out here the application has been already installed. Thank you for watching this.